patience. I
Patience.
think you need some patience because things are different here. It's a different country. There are no Walmarts. Yes. You do. If there are 6 different items, there's a chance you have to go to 6 or 7 different places to get those items.
Okay, so I'm here with Pamela and Kiernan in the Old City of Montevideo, and they're going to be sharing a bit about their story. Guys, where are you from, and when did you arrive in Uruguay?
We're from the Northwest U.S., Seattle, Washington, and we moved here almost 2 years ago. We got here New Year's Eve 22.
Wow.
Her birthday.
Yeah, on my birthday.
And I'm January 1st.
There you go.
All right, so you guys, I wanted to talk to you because I've never, in all of the 25 years that I've been living in Uruguay, I never met somebody that drove by car down from the US. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I have to ask you a bit about that. Would you share just a little bit about the decision?
Well, we had never taken a vacation. And we were also a little concerned about what was going to happen when we retired, because we rarely saw each other during the normal work week.
I owned a restaurant,
so it seemed like a chance to have a nice extended vacation, and we sort of approached it like that.
Well, we also have a dog that won't go in a crate and can't fly. She's got a stuffy nose, so we drove. Partly for the dog.
Part for the dog, part for the adventure, and also the idea of sort of easing out of a U.S. lifestyle into something different.
How long did it take you?
Well, we took 10 months. We were planned on a year and a half, but, just all over the place. We got to Santiago, Chile, and it was like, I'm tired of living in the car. So it was...
Yeah, because we had moved out of our house to sell it to prep another rental property. And, so we've been living out of suitcases for almost 2 years or a year and a half.
Yeah. So it was...
We were, yeah.
And we looked at the map and was like, we could get right through Argentina. We could get into Uruguay on my birthday. And I was like, okay, let's try it.
I mean, we still have a lot of South America we want to explore. Really, the people everywhere were so kind.
That was your dog?
Yes. She is like living with a cartoon.
And her name is?
Her name is Willow, but she prefers Princessa Willow.
All right, so on to the Uruguayan part of things. Now, you guys are my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we actually ran into each other. So these guys live in the Old City fans.
Yes.
Big time.
I love it.
Here. So you ended up actually buying an apartment here. What made you choose the Old City? What was the attraction?
We began making friends. And we got really used to walking around one-way streets. When we started to explore other neighborhoods, we're in Palermo, we were having constant near misses because in the course of a month, we'd completely forgotten how to look both ways. Cordon would have been really attractive to us with all of the restaurant scene and all of that. But I myself had developed a prejudice to one-way streets. I did not want to be where there were two-way streets.
Well, the history and the architecture here are just amazing.
Yeah.
Plaza Matrice, we fell in love with that right away. And
we're up there every morning.
Really?
Yeah.
With the dog. And if we walk past the plaza with her, she's like, no, I gotta go to the plaza. So we have to sit for just even 5 minutes, and then we can continue on our walk.
So you said you made friends here in the Old City?
Yeah.
That was my experience here too.
Yeah. The other thing, we always had much older friends. I should say there were within our friend group, there were people that were sometimes 40, 50 years older than us. And what we learned from that is that the people who, as they aged, maintained relationships with younger people had much better outcomes. And so that was important. So we lived in a place that we were exposed to art and
Music.
music and younger people.
And we forced ourselves on them.
Here.
And they yes, we have a granddaughter here.
Oh.
Yes, we do. Cammy. Hi, Cammy. When the first time she called me her abuelo, it was like, wait a minute. And then I met her 39 and 40-year-old parents, and I did the math, and it was like, I could be her grandmother.
I'd love to get an idea of your typical week in Uruguay. What does it look like?
Sorry to jump in. You may be watching this video because you're interested in moving to Uruguay. I've been living and writing about life here as a foreigner for the last 10 years. Find out more by going to guruguay.com.
I'd love to get an idea of your typical week in Uruguay. What does it look like?
Well, get up in the morning after 8 or 9 uninterrupted hours of sleep. That's huge. I never slept like that. And then we get up, we have coffee, we'll take the dog to Plaza Patrice, and then decide what we're going to do for the day. We'll often come home for breakfast, or sometimes we'll go and have a croissant with Jeff and Fleur at Fleur's Cafe Fleur, or Federation Bakery if we need a pan de campo. And then if we've exhausted ourselves, we'll take a nap. But if not, maybe we'll go on an adventure. Like, what do we need today? It's shopping or
go to a museum. We try to make sure that we leave the house and go somewhere at least 3-4 times a week.
More in the summer.
More in the summer.
Winter, it's kind of like,
yeah. It's super easy to get, Netflix bound.
How are people with the dog?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
She's not so good with other dogs, but no, everybody, they just can't. They just stare at her because she's a cartoon dog. We'll
have to show.
And little kids love her.
Yeah. And businesses, are they happy to have dogs brought in?
Oh, we don't bring them inside.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's on us. So we would prefer not to take her in someplace.
But the lovely little grocer here, if Kieran's walking and I'm not with him, he can tell her what he needs and she'll bring it out to us and take her money.
Yeah. She'll come out and hold the dog. I'll go in and grab the items and set them on the counter, and then we'll trade places.
So I wanted to ask that, did you guys speak Spanish before you came?
We took a 2-month course in Mexico.
Oh.
Which turned out to be kind of tourist Spanish.
Plus not the right accent.
Not the right accent.
Yeah.
But it was enough to help us through the borders.
Okay. That's important when you're driving 10 months through North America.
That was the thing. We got kind of enough Spanish to be able to get through the borders and to interact with the people, because like we said, that was important to us. As we were traveling, we were going to involve ourselves in the culture in the neighborhoods.
And I would say almost everybody really wanted to understand what we were saying, so they were very patient with us.
Right. And what about here in Uruguay? How's that? Because it's different now, right? You're living here.
Yes. We noticed the day we arrived in Uruguay that they are very unforgiving about the accent. The difference between servilleta and servilleta. And they're totally incapable or unwilling to make that leap. I get it. There's an accent. And I know my accent is horrible, but come on, make the leap.
But, I mean, how has it been? Because you arrived here, you had to rent a property, you've had to go to the doctors, you bought a place. How has it been there with the language? What do you do to actually be able to do all those things?
We try. That's the biggest thing. We try to speak always. We've had some great friends help us. Our realtor, who has become one of our best friends, Ignacio, has, is always available for some problems. And he Oh, that poor kid. We ran him for 6 months to buy this place.
We looked at a lot of properties.
He researched over 100 places for us before we found this place.
Nacho to his friends.
And you guys are studying Spanish.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What is your strategy for people? What would you say to people who don't speak Spanish? Like, what would your advice be to them here?
What any advice we give to anybody moving to a new country is to be willing to involve yourself in the culture. If you don't want to be part of the culture, and that means learning the language, making friends, going out, involving yourself, then that's not the right choice for you. I don't think you can expect to move here and not eventually need to learn some Spanish.
What has surprised you for good about Uruguay?
You know, walking down the street, random people just singing, and they're not crazy. They're just singing.
Just singing
because they're happy.
Yeah.
Young, old men, women, they just all of a sudden, and they're not like singing along with a song. They're just singing. I just find that charming and wonderful. The water.
The quality of water.
Quality of water is very good.
Mm-hmm.
The water out of the tap.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know, the water here tastes like nothing, which is what water's supposed to taste like. It's difficult to act surprised because we did a lot of research. So we knew that the infrastructure was going to be good. We knew that healthcare was going to be affordable and very available. The quality of produce, you're not getting a hothouse lettuce, that's all soggy and questionable. All the little ferias, all the little stores have really good produce. It's strange because the closest analogy we have in the United States for that kind of stuff is the 7-Eleven, which is the convenience store where they have they might have 6-pack of eggs and a bad banana and all that. But here, every little store has enough of everything.
Right, the corner shop remains supreme here, that's for sure. Let's talk about the bad stuff. What has been difficult for you guys?
Not all public bathrooms have toilet seats or paper. It's a delicate topic, but it needs to be said. That is something that, especially owning a restaurant.
People talk about bureaucracy. There's bureaucracies everywhere, and what I'm talking about is not the bureaucracy. Okay, I know we have to go to the intendencia and we have to do this and do this and this. But the process of buying an apartment or a home or even renting an apartment is not very transparent. It's really something that is difficult to do by yourself.
Even if you have good Spanish.
For instance, there's no central listing service for
real estate. Yeah.
So the difficult thing is finding a real estate agent and escrow agent that you can trust.
And how did you do that? How did you find someone?
We got lucky.
Yeah.
A friend of ours said, "Hey, my brother sells real estate, and he's got good English." And
we loved her, so her brother had to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so that's somebody that you made friends with here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's essential. And for your residency, you actually used a Uruguay recommendation, right?
Yes, yeah. Laura Canape.
Yeah.
She's also, she would do anything for us.
Yeah.
So we just try to keep it to the big important things.
Right. We had met with her to take care of some paperwork or something, and
our car
got towed.
No.
And Laura got on the phone, figured out where it was, jumped in the cab with us, went out and just got angry.
she should have been a lawyer. She was just
she
not
was.
going to let it go. Because the sign was behind the tree.
Right.
But there was a sign. She took pictures and she was arguing, and it's just like...
And it's like, well, it's 2,000 pesos or something like that, It's just... It's not nothing, but...
It was the injustice of it for her.
Yeah.
You mentioned to me earlier, Pam, that Laura has helped you, who's a relocation specialist, has helped you regarding health issues. And I mean, you had an accident, didn't you?
After not being on a bicycle for 25 years, we got ourselves electric bikes, which are a lot faster than you would expect. And there was a kid running this way, and I went and I landed right on my knee in one of those concrete
Bullets
bullets right on the surrounding.
the half round ones on the surrounding.
on the pedestrian street.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But next morning I woke up, I couldn't put any weight on it, and so it was like, I think we have to call an ambulance because I couldn't get down the stairs.
Was this part of your health insurance?
Yes. There was a doctor and a nurse.
Yeah.
And we're pretty sure that nothing was broken and that it was going to be fine. But if I wanted to get an x-ray, they'd take me to the hospital. And I just, why not? So went there, and it was probably another hour wait.
Yeah.
Got an x-ray. And then they said, well, we can get an ambulance to get you home. And I'm like, that's okay. I'm not going to wait for the ambulance. So we have our car. So he drove me home. And it was about 3 or 4 months before I could really, it didn't hurt anymore. But yeah, I'm all good.
So we've been very happy with the quality of service here. And what really surprised me is that there's very little waiting. We go to, you get your slip of paper that tells you what time to go to the doctor, and the doctor sees you at that time. It's so unusual in the United States. It's common to wait an hour, hour and a half past your appointment time.
How you chose your health insurance?
Did
you look into different ones? What were the? Can you remember some of the options?
It was Laura.
Laura helped us.
Our age, our medical history, which here, it's not. It's your story, the story of your body, which is very cool.
So they're not asking for the paperwork from the US.
Yeah,
to see.
and they're not going to charge you more because you've had illnesses or.
Yeah, so Laura narrowed it down to COSEM and Española. We chose Española because they had a higher number of doctors that spoke English.
Not all of them do, but
we've had a couple of things where it was difficult. We don't need to go too deep down that rabbit hole. But
that's our fault for not speaking better Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, or to take somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't found somebody that you could pay to go with you?
Yes, we absolutely. We got people that wouldn't take money to go with us.
Oh, that's the problem.
And it's like, well, we don't want to take advantage of that, and we're learning enough, and
it also kind of forces you to speak Spanish when you have to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I almost thought that when we were driving here, because we were in small towns where there was no English, that my Spanish was better then because I had to use it. And then I've gotten lazy here.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But
right. Costs of the medical insurance, because people will be interested to have an idea.
We pay as we're 60 and had some health issues in the past. We pay with all the added ons about $80 each per month.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. Last question for you. Somebody says to you, I'm thinking about moving to Uruguay. Okay. I know it depends a lot on the person that's asking you.
Yeah.
But Kiernan, what would you say to that person? What would be essential?
If you don't want to make the effort to involve yourself in the culture, you're not going to have a good time no matter where you live.
Patience. I think you need some patience. Because things are different here. It's a different country. There are no Walmarts. Yes. You do. If there are 6 different items, there's a chance you have to go to 6 or 7 different places to get those items. There's also, there are grocery stores, and we needed 20 screws. And we went to the little Feria down the street, and she had the right size, but she only had 10. It's like, okay, well, there's another. And everything was walking distance in Ciudad Vieja.
So the next one had 6. And, so the third one, they had the last few that we needed. But that's part of what we've referred to as our daily adventure.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's also part of living in the old city, isn't it? that we do have a lot of smaller stores. If we live more further out in the suburbs, then we are going to have a couple of the big box stores.
Yes,
that do
because there
exist
are
now.
some big box stores.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you have to get in the car.
Life in Uruguay is.
Life in Uruguay is delightful. It's sunny and it doesn't have a rainy season, so it rains every once in a while. I love that. And it's very muy tranquilo, which means just chill.
Life in Uruguay is very muy tranquilo. It's that whole attitude that everything's going to be okay. It's important, but it's going to be okay. Kind, I think. The people are so kind and easy to get to know.
The cost of living.
Well, it is the most expensive city in South America. I'd say it's slightly less than the U.S. There's a handful of things that are more expensive, but not things to buy every day. Rent and buying a place was a lot cheaper.
And healthcare. I mean, we got $1,000 a month boost in our pension by, not having to pay for healthcare.
As smokers.
This is Uruguay, so it's live and let live. I'm sure it bothers some people. We don't smoke indoors, and we try to smoke away from people, but most people don't mind.
And we almost always ask permission if we're in a public place. If we're in the park and someone's on the other end of the bench, we're gonna,
Before I moved here, I wish I had known
to buy more shoes. I have large feet, and it's difficult to find shoes to fit.
What size is difficult to find?
41. So that's like an 11 in the US.
Not even that large.
No, they're clown feet. It's okay.
Before I moved here, I wish I'd known.
I knew about the different electricity and all that, but we left a good set of cordless tools at home because we knew the charger was not compatible to the 220. What we didn't know is that once we got here, we could just buy a compatible charger.
Because tools are very expensive.
Yeah, we could have saved hundreds of dollars by buying one charger and keeping all of our tools.
The biggest difference between my life now and before.
I don't have to work, and I love it. I worked a lot. I had a restaurant, so I was at work 6-7 days a week. So, but yeah, we smile a lot. We are very happy here.
The biggest difference in my life is that we would never have been able to retire comfortably in the United States. Even with a pension and having made smart choices, it would still be meaning one of us would have to work at least part-time to afford health care, for instance.
And, the adventure of it, we love it. We absolutely love it here.
We are so happy. We made some excellent choices coming here. And
doing research first. That was a big one.
Some of the important reasons we chose Uruguay was there's not a huge income disparity like you see in other countries. So the labor protections are strong here. It also really improves the quality of life for everybody.
I would say that in every Central and South American country, when we told them we were headed to Uruguay, qualidad de vida, the quality of life, everyone said that that's what this country's known for. And I will concur.
Yeah.
I love that. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.